So as a marketer, my job is to come up with a very strong message that immediately clicks with my audience, that has the impact that we want, right? So it has to be very, very short, crisp, and powerful. I look at the top three features to talk about. Just giving you an
Uh,
example, very simple example. Okay, would you go and be like, what carat is that diamond? What cut is that diamond? You would not see all that in an advertisement, right? You would see the smiling
mm,
face of your wife on receiving the
right,
diamond and how she looks
correct,
at you lovingly, right?
right,
That's
right.
exactly what we do in B2B marketing as well. It's a marriage. So, like in a marriage, you need both the father and the mother, the husband and the wife to construct a proper household. There will be fights. We do
Okay,
pull out each other's hair, but then it
okay,
is a beautiful collaboration that actually leads to the overall success of the organization.
okay,
Okay, so there is the top layer of marketing, which is covered by
mm,
digital marketing.
okay,
Google, LinkedIn, all your social media. It goes into
mm,
the second stage when you have these round tables, when you have these seminars and conferences, little ones where you have from 20,000 people, you bring it to 200. Then having competition is good because the competition helps you in creating that awareness in the market, right? So they are
right.
doing your job.
Hey guys, welcome to Better Engineering and Management Podcast. Today we have Resha Raut joining us to discuss various challenges which are involved in B2B marketing. Resha Raut is a B2B marketing leader and she specializes in strategic innovation, driving growth, and of course B2B marketing and related branding. Resha, please welcome to the podcast.
Thank you, Pradeep. Thank you for having me here today.
Please give a small brief about yourself.
So I have been in the marketing field, in the marketing industry for the past 18 years. I started with event management and advertising. Okay. And then when the agency life grew on me and I wanted to settle a bit, have a family, have a 9 to 5, then I moved into corporate. So, yes, I am now leading India field marketing for an American software firm.
Sure. So, Resha, tell us how is B2B marketing different from B2C marketing and why is it challenging?
Oh, wow. That's again, a very generic but a very good question. I wouldn't start by saying being a B2B marketer, it will not be fair if I say that it is challenging because I do that for a living and I'm supposed to be good at it.
Sure.
Let's try to, I'm sure everyone knows the answer. Like everyone says, everyone is a marketer. Okay. But I'll just try to break it down in a very simple form. Okay. The one major difference is the audience. Who are you talking to? Okay. So in B2B marketing, you are trying to sell to an organization. Okay. You have multiple stakeholders. There is a CIO, there is a CTO, there is, a contractor which is involved. There's a partner that is involved. So there's so many stakeholders there. But when you are doing B2C, your audience could be just an individual. Okay. So when this is the kind of audience you're dealing with, then your strategy for content, for messaging also has to be different.
Right.
When you're selling a cream, you will say anti-aging cream for yourself. If you're 40 years and above, use this anti-aging cream and just glow, for the people. But then when you're selling a B2B software, you have to say, you know what? The CEO can see business revenue, the CIO can see team collaboration, and the procurement team can see easy procurement, easy deployment. So there's a level of conversation that happens. Here you're talking about thought leadership. Okay, then you're talking about high price, high value deals, which has to be customized for every organization that you go into. And when B2C comes in, it's pretty much, I would say, pretty much standard. Okay. The messaging is pretty much for the individual. It's emotionally driven. There's a story there. You want your child to grow, healthy, and you want your child to be first in the class. You want to be a very pretty woman at work, things like
Mm,
that. But here
right,
it is all about the organization. The organization has to grow. The team has to grow, and how it is going to show up in your P&L statement at the end of the year.
right.
So
Sure.
that's the kind of difference. And also, I think if we are talking about B2C and B2B, there's a relationship also that comes in, the kind of relationship that is built. I would say that B2C, yes, there is a brand that has to be built in the mind of the consumers, but still the transaction is one time transaction, right?
Okay.
But when it
Right.
is B2B, it's a long time. Usually the sales cycle is like 9 months is the minimum that we look at. And then you build relationship with not one person, but many, many, many person, okay, in the industry, in the field, or in the organization. So the kind of relationship we build is also very different from this to this. So I think we have covered most of it, right? The strategy, the audience, the relationship, messaging, pricing, even the pricing from standard to very customized. So yes, though both are, they follow the fundamentals of marketing, yes,
Okay. Okay.
but then there's a different play. It has, I would say, it has its own nuances that you
Okay.
need to be careful about,
Okay.
and you play that right.
Sure. So what I understand is that B2B is still pretty different than B2C, because in B2C you are dealing with one individual, where here you are dealing with an organization with many people, and you have to kind of convince all of them at some level that your product is good enough, and the money will not come immediately. There will be a sales cycle involved, so you have to be patient, and you also have to be very tactful, because you don't want to kind of as you said, right, in B2C, there is a brand, there is storytelling, but I believe a part of it is also there in the B2B, right? Because you are telling a story about your product, and you want the things to go through all the sales cycle and kind of, and there is a time involved, right? Because when the interaction starts, all the way till the sale happens. And then, as you mentioned, there is a rapport that needs to be created, because you also want to upsell a couple of things later, right? So it's not like one shot relationship where you sell something and forget. It's not
Right.
like that. You have to maintain that relationship. So I think that's also, I mean, I don't want to use the word process, but probably something that one has to worry about, right? How do you maintain the rapport with the customer for a long time so that you have a good business relationship? Okay, that's very interesting.
Exactly.
So,
Exactly.
so Isha, tell me one thing. Selling is a hard problem anyway, right, in the industry. And when you are selling software products particularly, right, because what happens is the number of features is huge, right, these days in all the software products. So as a marketer, how do you ensure that you are on top of all the features that are present in the product, so that when you are pitching your product to the enterprises, the customers, right, you have a bird's eye view of, the idea of all the features that are present in the software, so that you don't miss anything important. And kind of, is it overwhelming at times?
So that is a good part of being a marketer. You don't have to be, unlike an engineer yourself, I don't have to be aware of all the product features there,
Okay.
right?
Okay.
So as a marketer, my job is to come up with a very strong message that immediately clicks with my audience, that has a the impact that we want, right? So
Okay.
it has to be very, very short, crisp, and powerful.
Okay.
If I go into product features, then it will
Hmm.
be lost.
Okay.
So as a
Okay.
marketer, I can just tell you, for me, I look at the top three
Okay.
features to talk about. Okay. Okay. I will keep it to basic minimal language, because at the end of the day, I want the CEO to understand. I want the CIO to understand. I want that top of the mind recall, right? I don't
Okay.
want to be
Okay.
lost in all this lot of messaging, lot of content, all this. This I leave it to my sales guys and my technical guys at the end. I am catering to, the top of the funnel that we say, which is very broad, and my messaging has to be very, very sharp and strong.
Okay.
Okay.
That's interesting.
Keep away all the noise. Okay.
Okay.
I stick to the top three priorities, the top three
Okay.
pointers that's going to make people stop and think about my
Okay.
product. And I just bring that out. Does that
Basically, what
answer?
you're saying is, yeah, what I understood is, like, at your level, particularly when you are doing some kind of marketing roles, you are trying to create an impact in the mind of the customer by pitching the most important and most valuable features of your product, rather than going into nitties and gritties of the product. And then there are other layers of people who will kind of interact with the customer to explain lower level details, right? So at your role, you basically kind of take the top three or top five features of the product, which will create huge impact, and which the customer cannot live without, probably. And that is where you come along. Okay.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's like if you go to buy diamond today for your wife,
Right.
I'm just giving you an
Uh,
example, very simple example. Okay.
mhm.
Would you go and be like, what carat is that diamond, what cut is that diamond. You would not see all that in an advertisement, right? You would see the
Hmm.
smiling face of your wife on receiving the
Right.
diamond and how she looks
Correct.
at you lovingly, right?
Right.
That's
Right.
exactly what we do in B2B marketing as well, Lala. That's what we
Right.
say. And
Right.
after
Right.
that, the techie guys goes and says, you
Hmm.
know what, it has A, B, C, and D. It is good for this, it is good for this, it is good for that.
Right. Okay. Understood. That's very interesting. So Risha, tell me one thing. Is there any fine line between sales and marketing? I mean, where you can say this activity is part of sales and this activity is part of marketing, or both are completely kind of they blend with each other and there is no fine line between them?
Absolutely. There is a very good line
Okay.
between marketing and sales. Okay.
Okay.
I believe that where the marketing job stops, it's where the sales guy's job starts. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
Let me just break it down. I mean, let's just go step by
Sure.
step. So one is the focus. What is the focus
Okay.
of marketing? Marketing focuses on awareness, reach, lead generation. Okay. What sales has to do is convert those leads into sales and get the revenue for the organization.
Okay.
Okay. We deal with a larger set of audience. Okay. Sales
Mm-hmm.
has to deal with that one person who will give him the PO, right? And then even the success metrics, right? It's so different between a sales and marketing. Like my success metrics will be how many people have I reached out to, what is the PR readership viewership has been, what's the share of voice in the market, what are people talking about my organization in the market, right? Are they aware of my brand in the market? But a sales
Okay.
guys will have a sales target that he has to meet at the end of the year,
Right. Right. Right.
right? So
Okay.
yes, but then in the same way, it is a very very collaborative process. Sales and marketing, they have to work hand in hand. Why? Because marketing will refine its messaging and content depending on the insights that we get from the sales. Because the sales guys are my eyes and ears.
Okay.
They help me
Okay.
understand what people are actually talking about my product,
Interesting.
right?
Okay.
And on
Right.
this other side, the accurate information I get from sales, I can use that information, business analytics, and insights to draw a very clear, crisp messaging, which I can then hand over to sales, and they can take that to their customers.
Sales.
Absolutely, it's like
Okay.
just a marriage, right? It's a marriage.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
like in a marriage, you need both the father and the mother, the husband and the wife to construct a proper household,
Right.
to run a
Mhm.
household. It is similar, and there will be quarrels, of course.
Okay.
There will
Okay.
be fights. We do
Okay.
pull out each other's hair, but then it
Okay.
is a beautiful collaboration that actually leads
Okay.
to the overall success of the organization.
Yeah, very interesting. I mean, because what happens is when you're using the terms like sales and marketing, quite often you would use those two terms together. So as an engineer, we don't have a fine picture like where does marketing starts or marketing stops in sales. And so now I understand when you say marketing, you are just kind of trying to spread the word and generate leads. And once you have enough leads, you have narrowed down on certain leads, then the sales people will come and kind of start pitching to those particular leads that these are the products that we have, these are the features that we have, and of course trying to convert that lead into a client, right? So marketing generates leads, sales people. So this generation, can we say that conversion of lead to client is done by sales, or that part is also done by marketing? It's
The closures, the conversion is done by sales. We will not go and sit on the table and talk about 100 rupees ka hai, isko 90 kar do, yeah, isko
okay.
80 kar do. We will not talk about that. That
Okay.
will
All
be,
the
so yeah, our job is the person in front should
mhm.
know that, oh, this brand is good. If I use this brand, then my credibility in the market also increases and my team can function better. I need this product to be better at what I am doing today. This is what marketing does. And the sales guys does, sir, take this thing and it is deployed in your systems.
So you are saying marketing has two aspects if you think about it. One is like in general you're doing a marketing, let's say over internet or through various forums or through various conferences and whatever. And then there is a part of marketing where you're focused on certain customers, right? That I'm trying to influence these particular customers with my marketing. And sales is even more narrower, where you know that this is the person or this is the organization to whom we have to sell, essentially, right? So marketing and branding, what I understand is go hand to hand here, right? Because you are trying to build a brand for your organization for which you're working, and that branding and marketing are kind of similar exercises in a way.
So you're right. So see, marketing is the umbrella word.
Okay.
Okay.
Right.
And branding is a part of marketing. So marketing has various parts to it, right? And
Okay.
branding is one part of that marketing. Okay, so branding is all about coming up with a name, coming up with a tagline, the logo usage, the colors to be used. Okay,
Okay.
you put
Okay.
billboards everywhere, you put newspaper ads, and all these things
Right.
will come under branding,
Right.
And
Okay.
when you talk about sales, what we were talking about, like a particular customer, that falls under account based marketing.
Okay.
So
Okay.
you take a particular account and you go into that account and you work with that account on a daily basis. So when you
Right.
do that, it's like there are emails that goes out to that
Okay.
account, right? Then
Okay.
there is
Okay.
LinkedIn marketing that happens, Instagram, Facebook. We use all of the social media also. Then there is this reports that is generated for that
Okay.
customer. Okay, we
Okay.
do training programs for that customer. We do future mapping program, co-creation programs with that customer. So there are many tactics which comes under an ABM, that is account
Okay.
based marketing. For
Okay.
that, you also mentioned that there is a overall. So as you say, like sales, we also have a funnel. There is a marketing funnel. Okay.
Okay.
So there is the top layer of marketing, which is covered by
Mhm.
digital marketing.
Okay.
Google, LinkedIn, all your social media, your Google display, SEO, everything comes under this. Okay.
Okay.
Then
Okay.
when you have a little uh, qualified lead from this funnel, it goes into
Mhm.
the second stage when you have these round tables, when you have these seminars and conferences, little ones where you have from 20,000 people, you bring it to 200. Then from 200, you make it 20. From 20, you make it 2.
Okay.
And then
Okay.
you start, so there are different levels also in that.
So there is just like sales funnel, you're saying there's a marketing funnel also where you have kind of, let's say, zone of customers, and then you are kind of narrowing down to, let's say, top 20 customers on which you want to, because there is an effort involved in marketing, and you kind of, the more narrow that is, you will save some effort there also, I believe, right?
So you take an example, right? A
Hmm.
coder and a
Hmm.
security person. I mean, they too have
Right.
different needs. They too have different challenges. They too
Right.
have different aspirations. Okay. My same
Hmm.
message will not hit both of them
Hmm.
similarly, right? So
True.
I have different messages for a developer and for a security personnel.
Right.
Okay. Now I need to see where will I find these two and where do I put my message across?
Sure. Right.
Okay.
Okay. Interesting. So next question, Risha, like, when you are working in the sales, right, you're working pretty closely with the customer, right? But as a marketer, right, marketing also requires building relationship with the customers, right? Because you need to understand their needs, their anxieties, their pain points, right? And in today's fast-paced world, right, where every person is busy with so many things, right, how do you ensure that you build that rapport with the customer as a marketer?
So that's very interesting. As soon as a customer sees a sales guys, he builds a wall against, he builds a wall in between them that "अरे, ये तो कुछ बेचने आया है, he has come to sell me something." So
Right.
immediately, that kind of starts, his clock starts ticking. Now what he's going to talk to me, what he's going to sell, sell me today, that kind of
Okay.
thing. But when a
Okay.
marketer comes in, there is
Mm-hmm.
always like, there is no selling that I'm doing, but obviously I'm going to give him something which he will appreciate or he may like.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, there is something interesting for him to hear.
Okay.
Okay, so we break that ice right in the, what do you say, in the beginning of our conversation.
Okay.
So
Okay.
it's much more, what I would say, a discussion with a marketeer is much more easy, breezy, but as much superficial compared to a discussion with a salesperson, where you actually get into the problems and challenges and pain points and how to resolve that. I think this is very clear between the customer, sales, and marketing people as well.
Okay. True. So what you understand is marketing people also build relationship, but that is like just to break the ice. It is eventually the sales people who will have to sit very closely with the customer and try to understand each feature by feature, like, okay, this particular product is giving them so much pain and it needs to be resolved correctly. And they are the people who will take it all the way back to the developers. Please change this product. They are facing all these issues. Marketing people are essentially kind of facilitators here in a way, because we are arranging the meeting between the sales and the customer that, hey, this particular customer is interested in this product. Please go and pitch it properly, of course.
Exactly, right. And
Okay.
then when we have that ice breaking done, then if
Hmm.
there is, an event that is coming up or a seminar that is coming up, it's easier for us to go and talk to the customer one-on-one basis that, hey, you know what, this is coming up for us. Why don't you come and join us? So
Sure.
that's
Okay.
more easier proposition than going like the sales has to go in. You know what, your renewal time is there. You need to get,
Right.
give us the
Right.
maintenance money now. Your subscription is up.
Right.
That's a difficult conversation to handle. So I
Understood.
feel very happy being in this place. Trust me.
Okay. Okay. Understood. I can completely understand that. Okay. Okay. So the next question that I wanted to ask you, Risha, what has happened is the number of competitors, right, in each and every field have increased a lot, particularly in the software industry, right? In today's digital age, for every software, there is also cheaper version available always, right? And there is a lot of disruptive, how should I say, softwares or products which keep on coming out, right? How do you ensure that you stay ahead of the competition? What role does marketing play in keeping an organization ahead of the competition? Because there are always cheaper versions available of every product, right? So does it look like a relevant question to you?
Absolutely, no, it's a very relevant question, definitely.
Okay.
And um, I really have to say that it is not marketing alone, in this journey, in this uh, on this aspect. Seriously, it has
Okay.
to be the product itself, okay, and then the salesperson, what job they are doing in the market, okay, and of course, marketing, the messaging. Marketing is all about Pradeep. Marketing is all about messaging that is going out.
Right.
You know
Right.
the picture that you paint for
Okay.
everyone. That is very
Okay.
important. So if you believe in your product, okay,
Okay.
if you
Okay.
believe that what they will be paying for, it will be worth it. They can see, if you believe that you can show the ROI, okay,
Mm-hmm.
your messaging needs to show that. Your messaging needs to be as strong, okay,
Okay.
that
Okay.
you need to be able to prove that to the person. So I would definitely say that I am dependent on use cases, my customer stories,
Okay.
okay,
Okay.
and I constantly keep looking out for platforms where I can highlight these customer stories. So instead of me and my sales guy talking about my product, I want my customers, my happy customers, to talk about my product. As a marketer, that is my priority number one.
Okay. Okay.
So customer testimonials, customer videos are very, very important, assets for me. So I
Okay.
want my customers to talk about it. And next thing is finding those platforms where my customers are highlighted at the best.
Sure. Okay.
So it is a win-win situation. Even they get to speak, get to do peer-to-peer networking, get to be
Mm-hmm.
on stage, and
Okay.
talk about being how, establish himself or herself as a thought leader in the industry. And at the
Mm-hmm.
same time, I get my product advertised from them.
Okay. So basically, depending upon what use cases we're trying to serve, you are very clear about them. And if you're sure that this particular feature is going to help them or your product is going to help them save a lot of money, and that trust is there, that trust itself kind of keeps you ahead of the competition if you can build that trust with the customer, because that customer
Absolutely.
knows that whatever he's paying for, he's going to get kind of multiple returns on it. Okay.
Absolutely. And when you have that kind of trust relationship going on with your
Mm-hmm.
customer and with your product, then having competition is good,
Okay.
because
They
the
will,
competition helps you in creating that awareness in the market, right? So they are
right.
doing your job. So they
So
are
they are
creating.
telling, okay, there is a need for this particular software, and then you come and actually sell that software. Oh, that's very interesting. Okay.
You get
Okay.
it. So they are doing half of my job, right? By creating that kind of awareness and all that.
Okay.
And then if
Okay.
I have my belief in the product and I have a customer who can speak for me, then I go and that's it. Close the deal, right?
It's a very interesting thing that you told me, because now that I'm thinking, for example, whenever we have something to buy, right, there are a lot of pamphlets and products which are out there. So we know that this product is something relevant to me, but I never buy them. First, I will go and check the brand, which brand is selling that particular product. Is it reliable? Or let's say if I go to Amazon, right, there is a rating system, right? Which is the brand which customers have rated, and a lot of customers have rated, right?
So you see
So
for
there is
reviews.
correct the customer reviews, and only when I'm sure that this is well trusted, then only I buy it, right? So, but yeah, the buzz is created by probably smaller players also, right? Because they're continuously talking about it. Okay, that's very interesting actually. I never
See?
thought about it
That's
like that. that, competitors can also be, in a way, marketing agents for you. Huh?
Yes,
Okay,
absolutely. Absolutely.
very interesting insight. So, Risha, you're talking about messaging. That messaging has to be very strong, right? Let's say some new marketer, some people want to enter into this journey of marketing, right? What are some tips that you can give to them that if you want to build a strong messaging, right? Is there any is there any strategy that you follow, or is purely intuition, or how can one come ahead with let's say very strong messaging?
No intuitions, please.
Okay,
No intuitions.
okay,
It has to be completely what I would suggest and what I would really, really appreciate, and I follow it 100%, is research. Okay, you need to be out in the market. You need to be
mm,
able to do your research. Okay,
okay,
you sit with them, you eat with them, you understand them, everything, and then only you come up with, okay, this is what will click.
okay, okay,
Without that research, you won't be able to get there. So I can give an example. It has been
hmm,
almost a decade now. I was
okay,
planning to launch a product, a Dutch product into India, and they
okay,
came with their amazing packaging and amazing, the features and everything was so cool.
hmm,
Absolutely, and they were like so confident that this is gonna just fly in India.
okay,
Okay. And I said, okay, let's take a step back. Let us get it out into the market and let's understand, do people really need it?
okay,
And when we got out into the market, we realized that there was no need for it. People don't even think about it. Okay. And the features that is mentioned, people don't even relate to it. So we had to, the product launch was delayed by almost a year because we had to come up with everything new and adapt everything to Indian, our culture, our standards, or you say the way of life, to
okay.
our way of life. And then only that product becomes relevant to us.
Yes. So you're saying the only way to come up with great messaging is to understand the needs of your customer. You do your research. What do they like? What do they don't like? And things can also differ based on different geographies that you are working with. So in India, the needs of people may be very different than let's say what there is in America, let's say China or something.
Yes,
And if you are as a part of your research, you were saying that you have to find out exactly what your customer wants, what he thinks, what he feels about certain things, and then based on that, what impact your product would make, you can come up with a strong messaging, which will. So this messaging also acts as a hook, right? I mean, once he comes across this message anywhere, it kind of stays in the minds of the person, right? So he never. Okay, okay, that's
it
very
should.
interesting. Okay,
That's the whole point. Yes.
okay, very interesting. And last question that I wanted to ask, Risha, is like, what role do you see this emerging digital technologies like AI and all those things play in marketing? Can they help marketing to an extent, or it will continue to stay a little bit old fashioned?
So um, I'm sure there are many thoughts around it. Okay. But I'm just going to share what I think about it. Okay. So AI for me is all about crunching data. It has really, really helped me with crunching data. So as I just mentioned before this, that research is a very important aspect of marketing.
Right,
Research means data,
right,
right? And
right.
earlier we used to spend a lot of hours, a lot of manpower in
Mm-hmm.
analyzing that data, getting to find something from that data, right? But now with the help of AI, it actually makes that work very much easier for us. Collection of data and analyzing that data and coming up with hypotheses based on that data.
Okay,
Okay.
okay.
The other thing that AI has helped us is with social listening. It has helped us listen, tagging, everything is now so, there's so much of automation that has gone around. Again, it boils down to data. So when I'm saying social listening, what are people talking about my brand? Okay, how is my leads, are how are my questions, and how are my post react being reacted upon, everything. AI is helping me put all these things together, make sense of it, and then presenting it to me, and then I can sit and think over
Okay,
it and come up with
okay,
a plan around it.
okay. So you're saying marketers should start using AI because it will kind of help them reduce the amount of time they spend in research because all the data will be present and kind of okay,
So we do a lot of search also, right? So marketing is one field as well as search, because we have to
right.
keep looking for ideas, keep looking for
Mm-hmm.
more information on the company, on the brand, on the competition and everything. Now with the like AI being there, I think all this back end work which is
Mm-hmm.
very, very important to come up on the forefront, is
Mm-hmm.
actually taken care of. But again, it
Okay.
cannot be blindly, it has to be tested with personal experience also, right?
Okay.
You have
Okay.
to veto it, with your personal experience, personal presence, everything to be done by yourself as well. But this is like a very good support system that you can vouch on.
Great assistant to have, basically.
Absolutely. Yes. Yes.
Wow, I mean, this was very interesting discussion, Resha. I mean, because being an engineer, right, I have always been at the loggerheads with salespeople, right, because they demand something and then we have to kind of delay it. And the relationship between engineering and product dev in general, right, with sales is a bit of a tightrope relationship, right, because you are always kind of, each one is pressuring the other. There is a commitment that happens on the sales side, and the developers kind of start resisting it oftentimes that we are not ready for that. But what I understand is the relationship between sales and marketing is also probably similar because, but not really exactly same. And marketing is pretty more. There is it's like there is a separate layer between sales and marketing. And today, because since you have simplified it in such a easy language, we have understood the depth of it and the need for it, and we will not confuse sales and marketing as something similar going forward in the future. Thank you for joining, Risha. Any last words that you would like to say, and then we can wrap this up.
See, I would really like to say, see, at the end of the day, everyone is a marketer. Okay, everyone is a marketer. Okay, and I'm not exaggerating by saying that, because whenever you are standing in front of any customer, you will talk good things about your product,
Very true.
right? But then when it comes into real work, then there are few tactics and few strategies which you should leave to the marketer to handle. Only when you try to be like a marketer for real, then it becomes a problem, and then there is all that friction that you spoke about. And sales and marketing, the line vanishes. You try to vanish, there is a line, and let's maintain that line. Okay, I am not denying that everyone is a marketer, everyone should be a marketer, everyone needs to. If you are passionate about your brand, about your product, you will talk good things about it, so that makes you a marketer. However, there is a thin line which we all should respect, and that makes our journey smooth.
Very interesting. Basically, uh, everyone's a marketer, but let's leave the job to the professionals to do it in the manner which will, generate the best returns. Basically, okay, interesting. Thank you, Richard. Very well said. And I must say, I mean, this is one of those conversations where very complex and detailed topics you have simplified. So I would say you are a very good storyteller. You are a very good communicator, and people who are watching this must have learned a lot. They must have learned the complexities and subtleties of both sales and marketing. And thank you for joining, Risha. Have a nice day.
Thank you. I hope I have been able to explain, as you said, a
Mm,
little bit here, and
mm.
look forward to it. Yes. Thank you.
Have a great day.